Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to look at a Kubota 520, another Hydrostat wheel loader. Customer, their concern or the operator complaint is it won't back up a hill. I actually looked at this loader yesterday for some other issues. One being an LST oil pressure light was on, low oil pressure, and that was just a switch. Got that figured out. Ran the loader, worked great. I backed up a hill, no issues. Up and down, no problems. Gave it back to the operators, and it's almost sounding like it's intermittent at this point. Like he said it was working fine, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So we're gonna head back out to that loader, have a look. Hopefully it acts up. Hopefully we can I can replicate the issue and see what's going on. Alright, so we're at the loader. I just went with the operator and had him replicated on the job site. Unfortunately, we had to move it to a different spot to work on it. I wish there is no hills around, so there's the dirt pile here. I might try and use in reverse and see if it'll act up. It was definitely random. It was working fine for a minute or so, forward and back, up and down the hill in reverse, and then it just comes to a point where it just, in reverse, it just stops, foot to the floor, doesn't do anything at all. So I'm gonna try and replicate it here to show you. Alright, so definitely prove that reverse just kind of falls flat on its face when you go into the pile, and that forward, it definitely wanted to climb that pile. The wheels will keep spinning, but in reverse it's almost like it's hitting relief in the reverse circuit dumping a tank, possibly. Not building enough pressure to overcome what it's trying to do. So we'll get to, I'll see if I have the right fittings. I'll have to hook up a gauge to the reverse circuit, and let's see what pressure it's going up to and relieving at, if it is. Alright, so this Kubota loader, I don't actually have a manual for it. The customer does have one. It's at their shop. Not anywhere near where I am right now. I figured I would just try and have a look before. If it got into depth, I'd just go grab the manual. But I have diagnosed one of these loaders about a year ago or so, and from what I remember, the hydrostat pressure system relief is around that, I think, 5,300 psi, which is common on a hydrostatic system. And I do actually have one of these fittings. It's a NPT adapter to be able to read your, just a CompuCheck fitting to be able to read pressure. So, and I don't remember which side of the hydrostatic motor is forward or reverse, but we'll just pull a plug out, T into it, and we'll know pretty quick whether we're on the forward circuit or the reverse circuit on the gauge. And if we're on the forward, we'll hit relief, or try to, and see what pressure we're getting up to. I imagine the wheels will just continue spinning, but we'll get to see what it should be around anyway, and go from there and do the measurement on the reverse and see what the reverse pressure is. I don't think there's anything, you know, I already checked the hydraulic oil level. I don't believe it's a charge pump issue because the forward circuit is fine. The forward circuit works normal, so I don't even think it's a motor issue. A motor itself, it seems more like a reverse side only circuit, which has a relief valve in it, so I'm kind of leaning towards that. But we'll hook a gauge up and see what the relief pressure is. Alright, which side is the reverse side? Do I remember? I don't remember at all whether it's the top or bottom. I think we'll just pull this one out and see. Use the one size do all, if it'll work. Yep. It being a hydrostat, there won't be any pressure in this motor. It's obviously not running or driving. But if you were nervous, I would have just cracked this line loose and wiggled it around to relieve pressure. And this machine, I do actually have the high-speed solenoid disconnected, because this machine yesterday was switching between low speed and high speed on its own randomly and was stuck in high speed. So I disconnected it and it defaults to, or stuck in low speed. I disconnected it, defaults to high speed just for the time being until we get a switch for up top on the lever. And so yeah, I don't think it's, even in high speed, this thing should back up a hill. It shouldn't do what it's doing. So we'll get a gauge hooked up and let's see what our pressures are, whether we're on reverse or forward. Alright, so we got the test line ran down to on the motor, on the line, the hydrostat line. I don't know if I'm in forward or reverse. 10,000 psi gauge. Let's see what circuit we're in, and let's see what pressure is. So in reverse, I was reading 4,000 psi on the gauge, and the tires were not spinning. So I'm not saying that's actually the relief pressure of the reverse circuit, because sometimes the tires were spinning, sometimes not. I think from what I remember, you're supposed to do this on asphalt, not dirt, and or concrete, whatever, and push up against something stationary so it doesn't move at all. And obviously you're going to get the maximum traction and probably hit your circuit relief that way, but on dirt or mud you might end up spinning the tires before you hit relief, or before yeah, you hit your max pressure and go to relief. So I'm just using this 4,000 psi as a measurement and a gauge against. I'm going to hook into the forward circuit and see what the forward circuit pressure is and compare the two to see if we really have a circuit relief valve issue or not. Alright, let's pull this out. I'll swap it to the other side. Probably loosen the other plug first. Come on, do all. Oh yeah. Precision. Come on. Alright. That one's loose. This one's loose. Pull that out. This one in. Losing a little bit of oil. So now we're switching to the forward circuit at the hydrostat motor, and we're going to see, I'm going to compare it driving into the pile forward, see what the pressure is at. Although it could be hard if the tires start spinning again. It might just read that same 4,000 psi, I'm not sure. So in forward, I think I was hitting around that 5,500. It was above 5,000 psi anyway mark. I think I even seen it up around 5,500, almost 6,000 psi, and the wheels were spinning. So it would be nice to have the gauges on it in that exact spot where the guys were complaining about it on the hill. But it's kind of looking like that reverse circuit relief might be opening at 4,000 psi, dumping, and now you're not building enough pressure to have that motor turning those wheels as you're backing up a steep hill, because it's a very steep hill that they're talking about. It'll run around fine all day long. It's only when you have a loaded bucket on a steep hill reversing. So this could make sense. We might do a little swap Gnostics, and we might swap forward relief valve with the reverse relief valve, or at least pull the reverse relief valve out on the reverse circuit and have a look at it. They are adjustable, so maybe we could crank it up and see if we can build any more pressure. I think we'll try that first. If not, swap Gnostics, see if the condition follows into reverse, or it follows into forward, and the issue, sorry, the issue follows to forward, so then forward circuit would be the issue and reverse would be fine. So I think we'll check that relief valve though first. Alright, so under the loader you have your HST motor, and up here you have your HST pump. Here's a relief valve here, circuit relief. This one here is for the reverse circuit. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to loosen this lock nut, and I'm going to turn this adjustment screw in a few times, and then I'm going to test the reverse pressure circuit, or see if it changes at all. If it doesn't change at all in the first few turns, I'll probably end up winding it in, trying it. If it doesn't change, then we'll end up pulling it out, have a look at it. But I'm going to give it a few turns in and see if that bumps the pressure up any, or any kind of change. So let's go ahead and do that. Usually I don't really play with the relief valves unless you know the specs, but I can see that the forward circuit is much higher than reverse, and I don't think it's an issue turning it up to see what we get out of it, if it makes any change at all. If it does make change, then you know, either a weak spring or maybe even needing a new relief valve. So we'll just try it there. That might have been more than a few turns, but that's all right. Let's see what it does. All right, so I just adjusted that relief in, and now the loader won't actually go into reverse or drive. So I think what I've done is I've turned it in too far, and when you turn it in too far, it ends up opening the relief valve, goes into tow mode. So if you ever have to tow a wheel loader, skid steer on the crossover reliefs, you'll be able to crank them in, wind them in, and then it relieves that pressure if you ever have to move them, not for long distance, just temporarily. So I think that relief is now stuck open, so we'll back it off a little bit. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. We'll get under and we'll back that relief off just a bit, and that should be technically it's max adjustment after when it's open, max relief adjustment. Maybe we're going to need a new relief valve. Alright, so now I played around with that the relief valve for the reverse circuit. And now, well, reverse now works, but now I got no forward drive at all doesn't even want to move in forward, which is very strange. I was only made an adjustment on the relief circuit, or the reverse side relief valve. So that's very strange. This could turn into a little more than, I might need the manual, owner's manual for this one. So, might play around with the adjustment on that reverse one a little bit more and see if anything changes. Alright, I just played around with the adjustment, backed it off a little more, and we'll see if we got forward drive. Which is weird, that's for the reverse circuit. From what I remember, this is where the manual would come in handy. Alright, so I think you can still get the wheels to spin there, but it was still opening at, or only hitting about 4,000 psi max, so I might swap the reliefs for forward and reverse and see if the problem follows the relief valve, goes to the forward circuit. Alright, so I'm going to pull the reverse relief valve out first and have a look at it physically before I swap them. See if we can see anything obvious. I've got it cracked loose. I don't know how much oil that we're going to lose. But we're just gonna go for it and see. I can't remember how much oil might come out. Alright, don't shower me. I'm already getting wet. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. The suspense. How many pieces are gonna fall out? Huh, that's not much oil. That's not so bad. Like a cartridge and a spring. This valve is scribed. Almost like it's been out before. Definitely not by me. Alright. So go ahead and pull the forward one out too. Pull this line off. One's off. I have to pull this. I have to pull off. And slide this off. Wow, really? Okay. Whoa. Ah, the fitting's in the way. Come on. See if it'll turn. Just enough. Huh, that relief valve was loose. That wasn't even tight. Well, that's odd. This is for the forward circuit. I'm surprised that wasn't leaking. That didn't have any resistance on it at all. I should have maybe cleaned up, brake cleaned all beside it. That thing had to have been almost near hand loose. Oh, this brake clean is terrible. Come on in, baby. No surprises, no surprises. Alright, so this is a reverse circuit relief here. And here's the forward. One thing I noticed, just trying to compare the two, is this one here When you squeeze it in, that near closes the cartridge. This one is a forward one, which was working good. That one bottoms out long before, so I don't know if that has any difference. Another thing I noticed, this is a spring, so the tension in between, there's a screw inside. I don't know if you can see it, but it's protruding pretty far down in the threads there. This one here, the screw is at the top. So without a manual, I don't know if forward and reverse will have different pressures or if they should be the same. That'll be one thing I need to look up, but regardless, I'm going to swap these cartridges, put the reverse side one I pulled out in forward and put the forward one in reverse and see what the pressures are. Alright, so I got the forward and reverse relief valve swapped. I got lines back on, coil back on. So I'm just going to put the floor in and then button it up and then we'll test it. Alright, relief valves are swapped. Let's try it. Hopefully it even drives. Oh yeah, reverse was pretty responsive there compared to what it's been. Alright, so you could hear it hit relief and forward now, and because I swapped the reverse relief in the forward circuit, now forward is hitting relief and the wheels aren't spinning. So that's a good good test to see which relief, if the relief valve is the issue, and that leads me to believe that it is. So we're going to order a relief valve. what was the other? Yeah, you could tell that in reverse the wheels were spinning much faster. Now it was only getting to 4,000 psi on the gauge, but I think that's because we're working with mud and the tires just start to slip and it only builds 4,000 psi, and now the tires are spinning, so you're not going to build that pressure any higher than what it is to spin the wheels. If we were on pavement, it would probably be a different story. Although I can't be testing here in a residential area on pavement. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to order the relief valve. I'm going to take my gauge off, my fitting out, and they can take the loader back. And I've got some other parts ordered for it, the switch for the high-low range to make it work. And a couple other pieces. I went and looked at a Kubota excavator today that needs 2 track adjusters. The tracks are bleeding off, not the grease valve. So yeah, we'll order a relief valve for this and we'll come back and see how it performs after. Alright, we are back at this loader. It's 5:20. We've got Old Man Winter decided to show up. Got the snow. They brought this machine back to the yard. They ended up using it for 2 or 3 days, just the way it was, so I ended up getting by. I just tried to dig in the pile here, and it's spinning all the wheels, but we're also on snow and ice, so pretty slippery, not getting much traction. We've got the relief valve from another loader that's had some issues. This is a newer relief valve, so we're going to try it first and see what happens. Alright, I got this relief valve replaced. Got the new used one in. So I just replaced the high and low range handle here. There's a wire, 2 wires that run through the joystick and underneath here and hook into a wiring harness. So I got those in. Let's see. That issue was the machine was stuck in low range in the transmission. So we're going to see if the high range and low range work as well. We'll go over to that pile, test it out, and see how it works. right, so just got done testing this loader out after doing the high and low range. Works great, digs great. I don't see why this machine can't go back into service. We'll get the panels back on, my gauges off, and send it back to work. So this will be the end for this wheel loader and the hydrostat issue. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. Thanks, guys.